नमः सर्वेभ्यः। व्योम-संस्कृत-पाठशालायाः लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी द्वितीयभागे चतुस्त्रिंशे वाग्वर्धिनी वर्गे सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्। आदौ अष्टाध्यायी तत्र 140 सूत्रादारभ्य अहं सकृत् पाठयामि, अनुवदन्तु ततः। उमादेवी भगिनी।
नमस्ते भगिनी।
हाँ, षडो कस्सि
षडो खसि षडो खसि
कस्सि
षडो खसि षडो खसि
रदाभ्यान्निष्ठातो नः
रदाभ्यान्निष्ठातो नः रदाभ्यान्निष्ठातो नः
पूर्वस्य च दः
पूर्वस्य च दः पूर्वस्य च दः
संयोगादेरातो
संयोगादेरातो
धातोर्यण्वतः
धातोर्यण्वतः
ल्वादिभ्यः
ल्वादिभ्यः
ओदितश्च
ओदितश्च
क्षियो दीर्घात्
क्षियो दीर्घात्
श्योस्पर्शे
शोस्पर्शे
श्योस्पर्शे
शोस्पर्शे
अंचोनपादाने
अंचोनपादाने
दिवो विजिगीषायाम्
दिवो विजिगीषायाम्
निर्वाणो वाते
निर्वाणो वाते
शुष्कः पचोवः क्षायोमः प्रस्त्योन्यतरस्याम्
अनुपसर्गात्
फुल्लक्षीब कृशोल्लाघाः नुदविदोन्द त्राघ्रा ह्रीभ्योन्यतरस्याम् नद्याख्या प्रमूर्च्छिमदाम् वित्तो भोगप्रत्यययोः
वित्तो भोगप्रत्यययोः वित्तो भोगप्रत्यययोः
भित्तं शकलं
भित्तं शकलं
ऋणमाधमर्ण्ये
ऋणमाधमर्ण्ये
न सत्त निषत्तानुत्त
न सत्त निषत्तानुत्त
प्रतूर्तसूर्त
प्रतूर्तसूर्त
गूर्तानिच्छन्दसि
गूर्तानिच्छन्दसि
सम्यक् धन्यवादाः। अहम्
धन्यवादः।
एकवारं पठामि, ततः अन्ये केऽपि किञ्चित् पठितुमर्हन्ति। षडोः कस्सि रदाभ्यान्निष्ठातो नः पूर्वस्य च दः संयोगादेरातो धातोर्यण्वतः ल्वादिभ्यः ओदितश्च क्षियो दीर्घात् शियो स्पर्शे अञ्चोनपादाने दिवो विजिगीषायां निर्वाणो वाते शुषः कः पचोवः क्षायोमः प्रस्त्योन्यतरस्याम् अनुपसर्गात् फुल्लक्षीबकृशोल्लाघाः नुदविदोन्दत्राघ्राह्रीभ्योऽन्यतरस्याम् नद्याख्यापृमूर्च्छिमदाम् वित्तो भोगप्रत्यययोः भित्तं शकलं ऋणमाधमर्ण्ये न सत्तनिषत्तानुत्तप्रतूर्तसूर्तगूर्तानिच्छन्दसि। केऽपि पठन्ति वा? शुभदा भगिनी।
आं भगिनी, नमो नमः।
हाँ।
षडो कहसि रदाभ्यां निष्ठातो नः पूर्वस्य च दः संयोगादेरातो धातोर्यण्वतः ल्वादिभ्यः ओदितश्च क्षियो दीर्घात् शियो स्पर्शे ऐञ्चो नपादाने दिवो विजिगीषायां निर्वाणो वाते शुषः कः पचोवः क्षायोमः प्रस्त्योन्यतरस्याम् अनुपसर्गात् फुल्लक्षीबकृशोल्लाघाः नुदविदोन्दत्राघ्रारिभ्योऽन्यतरस्याम् नद्याख्याप्रुमूर्च्छिमताम् वित्तो भोगप्रत्यययोः भित्तं शकलं ऋणमाधमर्ण्ये न सत्तनिषत्तानुत्तप्रतूर्तसूर्तगूर्तानिच्छन्दसि।
सम्यक् धन्यवादाः।
धन्यवादः।
So all these sutras, just for interest, nishtha taha. निष्ठा इत्युक्ते क्त क्तवतु प्रत्ययौ तयोः निष्ठा इति संज्ञा भवति। एतानि प्रायेण इतः आरभ्य सर्वाणि सूत्राणि निष्ठा नाम क्त क्तवतु प्रत्यययोः विषये अस्ति। तत्र क्त क्तवतु प्रत्ययेषु अकारस्य नकारः कदाचित् भवति। कदा भवति इति चेत् रदाभ्यां रेफः दकारः अस्ति चेत्, यथा भिद् अस्ति चेत् भिन्न इति भवति, न तु भित्त। छिद् अस्ति चेत् छिन्न, छिन्नवान् छिन्नं, भिन्नवान् भिन्नम्। एवमेव रेफः तीर्णवान् तीर्णम् इत्यादिषु एवमेव एतानि सर्वाणि सूत्राणि क्त क्तवतु प्रत्यययोः विषये सन्ति। क्षि क्षीण इति भवति, क्षयति क्षयं प्राप्नोति इत्यर्थे क्षीण इति भवति। एवमेव निर्वाण शब्दः अस्ति। So all these are related to the kta pratyaya. So pachah vaha, pach dhatoh pakvam pakvavan iti rupam bhavati. So it's a very special one which is usually asked in many places. Pach dhatoh kta pratyayah pakta iti na bhavati, pakva. किमर्थम् इति चेत् अत्र अस्ति पचः वः। पच धातुः अस्ति चेत् तत्र तकारस्य स्थाने वकारः भवति। एवं शुष् धातुः अस्ति चेत् तकारस्य स्थाने ककारः, अत एव शुष्कम् इति भवति। क्षायः, क्षयी धातुः अस्ति चेत् तत्र मकारः क्षाम इति रूपं भवति। सो एकं तु अष्टाध्याय्याः पारायणम् इति एकं, द्वितीयं यदा यथा यथा वयं व्याकरणं पठामः सूत्राणां विषये किञ्चित् कौतूहलं भवेत्। यानि लघु लघु सूत्राणि सन्ति, किमुच्यते सूत्रेण. So even though we don't understand all the sutras, we should always be open to seeing what it is about. So it will make more sense and it will also help us in putting those things together. अतः पारायणं तु एकं क्रियते, तत्तु सम्यगेव, किन्तु तेन सह तत्र किं किम् अस्ति सूत्रे, किं किं प्रकरणम् अस्ति अस्माभिः अधीयमानेषु सूत्रेषु इति ज्ञातव्यम्. Is there a problem with audio? Somebody says it is not.
सम्यक् श्रूयते.
श्रूयते वा? अस्तु, अग्रे गच्छामः. लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी. अत्र गतसप्ताहे अस्माभिः स्त्रीलिङ्गप्रकरणं सम्पूर्णतः अधीतं. तत्र महालक्ष्मी भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी.
श्रूयते
वा? नहोदः नहोहस्य दः स्यात् छलिपदान्ते च न हि वृत्तिरिषिव्याधि रुचि सहित व्यधिरुचि सहित निषु वौ निबन्तेषु पूर्वपदस्य दीर्घः उपानत् उपानद् उपानहौ उपानत्सु पिन्नन्तात्वात् कुत्वेन गः उष्णिक् उष्णिग् उष्णिघौ उष्णिभ्याम् द्यौः दिवौ दिवः युभ्यां गीः गिरौ गिरः एवं ऊः चतस्रः चतस्रृणाम् काके काः सर्वावत् यः सौ इदमोदस्य यः इयं यदाद्यत्वं पररूपत्वं ताप् दश्चेति मह इमे इमाः इमाम् अनया हलिलोपः आभ्याम् आभिः अस्यै अस्याः अनयोः आसाम् अस्याम् आसु.
धन्यवादाः.
धन्यवादः.
पार्वती भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी. तदाध्यत्वं ताप्स्या ये याः एवं तद् एतद् वाक् वाग् वाचौ वाग्भ्यां वाक्षु अपशब्दो नित्यं बहुवचनान्तः अप्तृन्निति दीर्घः आपः अपः अपोभिः अपस्तकारो भादौ प्रत्यये अद्भिः अद्भ्यः अपाम् अप्सु दिक् दिग् दिशः दिग्भ्यां त्यदादिष्वति दृशेः क्विन् विधानादन्यत्रापि कुत्वं दृक् दृग् दृशौ दृग्भ्यां त्विट् त्विड् त्विषौ त्विड्भ्यां ससजुषो रुरिति ऋत्वं ससजुषो रुः इति ऋत्वं सजोः सजुषौ सजोर्भ्याम् आशीः आशिषौ आशीर्भ्याम् असौ उत्वमत्वे अमू अमूः अमुया अमूभ्याम् 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 अमूभिः अमुष्यै अमूभ्यः अमूभ्यः अमुष्याः अमुयोः अमुयोः अमूषाम् अमुषा अमुष्याम् अमूषु.
सम्यक्, धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः.
So we'll try to take a quick recap of the prakarana. We will just see what each shabda is and what are the main sutras. So, yatha uktam, in Strilinga prakarana, there is not much which is new. It is mostly recollecting earlier sutras and applying it. So, we saw in every class, we saw a representative shabda. So, upanah, hakaranta shabda, which has, it is upa and nah. The Purvapada gets dirgha by the sutra nahi vriti vrishi, etc. But the main sutra which is required for the Subanta Prakriya is the Nahodhaha, an apavada to Hodhaha. Hodhaha, Dader Dhatorghaha, Va Druhamuhashnuhashniham, Nahodhaha. So Hakarantasya Samanyena Dhatvam Vidhiyate. So Nah Dhatuhu Asti Chet, Tatra Dhakaradeshaha Bhavati. Ityanena. Tatra nadh upanadh padante sarvatra dhakaraha bhavati. That dhakarasya jashtvena dakaraha. So upanaha upanadbhyam upanadbhihi iti rupani bhavanti. We also saw ushnih, which is a kvinnanta shabda by Ritvik Dadhak Sragdi Ushnik. So tatra padante ghakaraha bhavati hakarasya kvin pratyayasya kuhu ityanena. So we get ushnig and then jashtve krite ushnig. Ushniha, ushnigabhyam, ushnigabhihi iti bhavati. So we will see a bit more about this kvin pratyayantas today, later today. Then we had div vakaranta shabda, where we had two special sutras which we already saw in Pullinga. Diva out and diva ut. So diva out is saupare autvam. So dyauhu diva divaha. Whereas anyatra padante tvam bhavati diva ut. So diva dyubhyam dyubhihi iti rupani bhavanti. In Rephanta, we saw the gir shabda, which is derived from a dhatu. It is important to know many times where that shabda is coming from. So it is from the gr dhatu shabda. Gr. Right. So where it gets ikaradesha, which is rapara. And therefore gir is a dhatu. Therefore by rvorupadhaya dirgha ikaha, in padanta we get the dirgha for the upada. It becomes girbhyam girbhihi. Chatur shabda in Strilinga gets the adesha chatasr. Trichaturos triyam tisra chatasr. So in jas and shas, it gets rephadesha by achirarutaha. So chatasraha. Then in am we have no but no dirgha. So it will not be chatasrinam, it will be chatasrinam. Because of the nishedha, na tisra chatasra. Right? Any questions in these? They're all fairly easy. So even in classes we covered very quickly. But if you have a question, please ask. Okay, can we move ahead? So the next set of shabdas, we saw the kim shabda. So most of these tyadadi shabdas, including kim, in kim we have kimah kaha, in other tyadadis. So tyad, tad, yad, etad. So everywhere we have tyadadinam aha. So there is akara, and whenever there is akara in Strilinga, we have to remember the sutra ajadyata shtap. It is a stri pratyaya vidhayaka sutra which applies by default to all hrasva akarantas. It is because of this that we don't have a hrasva akaranta strilinga shabda in Sanskrit. We have akaranta pullinga napumsakalinga, but no akaranta strilinga. Never. Right? Why? Because the moment you have a and you have a strilinga, tap will apply. It does not require any other condition. Right? So ajadi ataha adantadanga tap bhavati striyam. So it will not allow any pratipadika to remain as hrasva akaranta if it is a strilinga. Therefore, everywhere we have akaranta shabdas like ka, ta, ya. Everything is converted to akaranta. Once you have akaranta, we go back to the sarva shabda. So abanta prayuktani karyani bhavanti. Sarvanama prayuktani. So sarvanamnasya dhrasvascha and Ami Sarvanamana Sutta will also apply. Okay. Then we had the idam shabda. So whenever we have idam, so these 6 sutras should be remembered always, like 6 plus 1. So these 6 are all in series. Idamo maha dascha yassau idoi pumsi anapyakaha halilopaha. We have also memorized Saptamadhyaya Dvitiya Pada. So the moment we think of idam, right? The thing is, when we are studying, we study separately. Pullinga, Strilinga, Napumsakalinga, Ajanta, Halanta. But after you study, it is all the same. So there are some sets of sutras, just like for Yushmad and Asmad. We remember the series from Yushmad Asmadbhyam, Ngasosh, Prathamayoram, etc. And again, the other Maparyanta sutras. So similarly, the moment we have idam, so idamo maha, supratyaye makarasya sthane makaradeshah bhavati. So ayam, iyam, idam. Trishu lingeshu api tatra supratyaye makarah shruyate. Everywhere else you get tyadadyatva and pararupa. Okay. So then dascha ityanena kimuchyate? Idamaha dakarasya sthane makaradeshah. So imau ime or ime imaha sarvatrapi dakarasya sthane makarah bhavati. Yaha sau supratyaye pare dakarasya yakarah. This is a sutra which exclusively applies in Strilinga. So we get iyam. Instead of idam, we have iyam. Whereas in Pullinga, idoi pumsi, idaha ay. So instead of just dakara being replaced by yakara, id is replaced by ay. So we get ayam. So ayam in Pullinga, iyam in Strilinga. In Napumsakalinga, it will remain as idam. As we will see, there is luk, swamor napumsakat, takes away the su and Therefore, there is no other angakarya. It will remain as idam. Ayam, iyam, idam. So the difference is because of these 2 sutras, yassau and idoi pumsi. Then api, starting from tritiya, anapyakaha halilopaha. If it is an ajadi pratyaya, we have the an adesha. If it is haladi pratyaya, we have the lopa. Of what? Idaha. Idaha sthane an or idaha lopaha. Right? So anena abhyam ebhihi or anaya abhyam abhihi. So everything can be achieved by these sutras. In addition, in Dvitiya, Ta and Os, we have an additional form which is the Ena, because of the Ena Desha in Anvadesha. So we have Enam or Enam. Then Tad, very similar to Kim, Tyadaditva, top, and it becomes like Sarva. Vach iti chakaranta shabdaha. So we have Chohkuhu. So Vak, Vacha, Vagbhyam, Vagbhihi, Sarvatra Kutvam Bhavati. Evameva Jakarantaha asti chet. So it skips a lot of shabdas, but by knowing the Pullinga, we should be able to extend it to Strilinga. We also saw the up shabda, which is a special shabda because there are 2 sutras which call out the shabda by name. Right? So up trin trich, sarvanamasthane pare upadha dirgha. So we have apaha in jas, apaha in shas. Then apaha bhi takara desha. So we have adbhihi, adbhyaha, adbhyaha. Any questions here? Okay. We'll go to the last section. We saw the dish shabda, which is a kvinnanta shabda. Ritvik, dadrak, srag, dik. Okay. So there we have brashcha, bhrasja, srajam, raja, yajaraja, bhraja, chasham, praha, followed by jhalam, jashonte, and kvin pratyayasya kuhu. We also saw the drish shabda, which is a kvibanta shabda. Right? So drishyate anaya is a kvibanta, but atrapi shatva, jashtva, kutvani. Kutva by kvin pratyayasya kuhu applies. Right? So that is an important concept to know. In kvin pratyayasya kuhu, the interpretation does not mean kvinnanta shabdanam kutvam bhavati. So it doesn't apply only to shabdas which have kvin at their end, right? Why? Because if that was what Panini had intended, he could have just said kvinaha kuhu. So if he says kvin, naturally it means a kvin pratyayanta shabda, because the pratyaya itself doesn't undergo any karya. So a kvinanta shabda will get the karya. But by saying kvin pratyayasya kuhu, Panini is adding that extra word pratyayasya to indicate that there is something special. And what is that something special? He is making a samasa in kvin pratyayasya. Kvinaha is an independent word, whereas kvin pratyaya is a samasa. What is a samasa? Kvin pratyayaha yasmat saha. Yasmat dhatoho kvin pratyayaha vihitaha. Any dhatu which gets kvin pratyaya in any context. So drisha dhatu is now a kvin pratyaya. Why? By tyadadisha drishonalochane kancha, it gets kvin if it is preceded by the tyadadis. So even when there is no upapada, even when it doesn't have kvin at all, by kvin pratyayasya kuhu, it does get the kutva. So we have drik drishau drishaha, drisha drigbhyam drigbhihi. Then in murdhanya shakaranta, we saw the tvish or pravrish. So in any case, we have, actually shatva is already there. This has only the jashtva. Because shabde eva shakaraha asti ityataha. You don't need shatva. So jhalan jashonte ityanena jashtvam bhavati. Twit, twid, twishau, twishaha, twisha, twidbhyam, twidbhihi iti rupani bhavanti. Then we saw sajush, which is again a special shabda because it is called out specifically in sajushoruhu. Sajushoruhu has sajush. Sajush ityatra shakarasya rutvam bhavati, because it is specifically mentioned in the sutra. So it becomes sajur, and then rvorupadhaya dirghaikaha iti upadha dirghe sajuhu, sajusha, sajurbhyam, sajurbhihi iti bhavati. In ashish shabda, also we get rutva and upadha dirgha, but not because it is specifically called out, because the shatva is asiddha. In sajush, the shakara is originally there in the dhatu. It is not caused by shatva. Therefore, Panini had to specifically call it out in sasajushoruhu. But ashish, it is actually shas dhatu, where the sakara gets converted into shakara. Because the shatva is asiddha, it is treated as sakara. That is why some books mention this as a sakaranta shabda ashis, some books giving it as shakaranta. Either way, it doesn't make a difference to the form. So if you consider the shatva as asiddha, there is sakara there. Therefore, sasajushoruho ityanena rutvam bhavati, and then rorupadhaya dirghaikaha iti dirghaha. So ashihi, ashisha, ashirbhyam, ashirbhihi, sarvatrapi dirghaha rutvam cha shruyate. So the last shabda was adas. So adasaha au sulopascha. Supratyaye pare autvam sulopaha. So we have asau, common to both pullinga and strilinga. After that, everywhere in adas we have tyadadyatva pararupa and tap. So we have ada. Okay. After that, when you add the when you apply adasoser dadu domaha, we get the forms. There is no other sutra involved. Tabanta, whatever applies for ap, that is aungapaha, angichapaha, all those will apply. Also the Sarvanama Sutras like Sarvanamnasya Adhrasvascha and Ami Sarvanamnas Sutra. Any questions? Is it that everybody is very comfortable with strilingas or?
Namaste. I have a question.
Ah.
So this question came up yesterday in the Abhyasa Varga. So Rutvij Shabdaha Supratyaya Pare Sulopanantaram Vayam Asmabhihi Kutvam Kritam directly. Whereas this Shabdaha, we did the Shatvam, Jashtvam, Kutvam, even though both words are in the Sutra, Rutvik, Dadrik, Sragdig, Ushnik.
Very valid. So that is the part of the major part of today's class is about Queen Pratyayantas. This will be answered there.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
I have the Vagvardhini is specifically on that. There is a question. We don't find any usage of yad in literature. Yes, I mean, I should agree that I also haven't come across yad so far anywhere, especially in classical literature, it is not there. I am not sure if it is found somewhere in the Vedas, which is possible, or even in other literature. The problem with saying that it is, we don't find is actually the Bhashyakara himself. Right? In the Mahabhashya, there's a very interesting passage where in the Paspashanhika, the first Anhika of the Bhashya itself, it is a kind of preface to Vyakarana, where there is some argument which says some of these words, right, very rare words. So there is an argument where one of the student or a Prativadi says, Sarve aprayuktaha. All these are not in use. So he makes a statement like that. So the Bhashyakara says, how much of Vangmaya have you actually studied? So he makes a list of the expanse of Samskrita literature. So this is more than 2000 years ago, at the time of Mahabhashya. So he says there are the Vedas, there are the Vedangas, there are the Upavedas, there is Ayurveda Shastra, there are the other Shastras, and there are regional variations. Have you gone everywhere and studied everything to say that it is not in use? Okay, so he asks that question and he gives a few examples. Okay, like he says, Shava. Okay, there is a word called Shava. Shava in normal usage, we all know Shava is used to indicate a body, a dead body, basically. Right? So he says we as in Aryavarta, Shava is used to mean a dead body, but in Kamboja, that is in Afghanistan and that area, it is used as Gachati. So Gachati ityarthe Shavati iti prayogaha bhavati. So he's just trying to illustrate that we don't have, that is this thing to say it is not used. So either we may have lost the usage of the Shabda. There are so many texts which are not available now for various reasons. Evam yatra kutrapi prayogaha asid iti tu anumatavyam bhavati. Because Panini and general Vyakarana is created for prayuktanam idam anvakhyanam. So they are not newly created words. So at some point it was in usage. Eshu dineshu prayogaha nashtaha syad asmabhihi ajñataha va syat ityeva vaktavyam. Tad shabde shasi akasavarne dirghaha va prathamayoh purvasavarnaha va iti prashnaha. Sarvatrapi, all strilinga shabdas starting from Rama, right? So dirgha jasicha ityanena jasi pare purvasavarna dirgha nishedhat akasavarne dirghaha iti dirghaha bhavati. Shasi tu prathamayoh purvasavarnaha ityanena purvasavarna dirghaha bhavati. There is no effective change, but everywhere in akaranta strilingas that is the case. Jasi pare akasavarne dirghaha, shasi pare prathamayoh purvasavarna. Atrapi tathaiva. Tad ityasya tapi krite you have ta and as. If it is just akasavarne dirghaha, shas chet prathamayoh purvasavarna. Dhanush shabdasya api dhanus iti bhavati khalu. Satyam. Tada pullinge api drishtam. Tatra shattvasya asiddhatva. Tatrapi us iti pratyayaha. तत्र षत्वं षत्वस्य असिद्धत्वात् तत्र ऋत्वं भवति धनुर्भ्यां धनुर्भिः इति दीर्घः तु तत्र न भवति right that is the difference there dhana iti dhatuhu us iti unadi pratyayah so it is not a dhatu repha atah rvorupadhaya dirghaikah ityanena dirghah na bhavati dhanusha dhanurбhyam dhanurbhihi iti bhavati atra tu shas iti dhatuhu धातोः स्थाने तत्र ऋत्वम् इत्यतः तत्र रोरुपधाया दीर्घैकः इति दीर्घः भवति आशीर्भ्याम् आशीर्भिः इति स एव भेदः किन्तु उभयत्रापि षत्वस्य असिद्धत्वात् ऋत्वं भवति इति समानम् डस् स्रज् गेट् कुत्व बै चोः कुहु or क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुहु that was a question raised by me yesterday. Sraj gets by kvin pratyayasya kuhu. Again, as I said, all these kvin related questions we are dealing right now. Okay. So we will see that. It will get by kvin pratyayasya kuhu. Tatra katham bhavati ityatra there are things to be considered. Which we will see right now, we will see in detail. If there are no other questions, we will move ahead. There was no Vagvardhini in last week's exercise. It was deliberate. What I thought was, itah param nutanani sutrani adhikani na santi. There is not much in sutra and not much for Vagvardhini also. Okay, no sutra explanation or anything. And there are some things, we are nearing the end of all this Subanta Prakarana. There are some topics which make sense when we consider them comprehensively. Yatha kvin pratyayanam vishaye tatra adau ritvij shabdaha yada pathitaha tada kechana amshaha vaktum ashakyaha asan. Right? At an initial stage of introducing a topic, there are some things which are not possible to explain clearly. Idanim tu asmabhihi sarvam jnayate ityatah kechana amshaha tadrishaha santi ye atra samagra drishtya drashtavyaha bhavanti. So I want to utilize the next few weeks in Vagvardhini, that is in this session. We will do the usual Ashtadhyayi, Laghu, Kaumudi, evam Pathasya Punaravartanam Kritva. So the Jnanavardhini session will be longer, in which we will try to take a comprehensive look. So Asmin Adya Kvin Pratyayantanam Vishaye Kinchit Samagra Rupena Jnatum Prayatnam Kurmaha. Agrima Saptahe Tatra Shatru Pratyayantanam Numagama Vishaye Kinchidasti. So there are some such topics, right, which go across lingas, and you have to step back and take a whole look at the whole of it. Right? Astu adyatana vargetu क्विन् प्रत्ययान्तानां शब्दानां विषये यथा बहूनां मनसि सन्देहः उत्पन्नः तत्र तदर्थमेव यदा सन्देहः भवति तदनन्तरमेव तस्य निवारणं करणीयम् इति शास्त्रे उच्यते. तत्र शिष्याणां मनसि सन्देहः भवेत् तदा तस्य कदाचित् तु किं भवति, शिष्याणां तु सन्देहः एव न भवति, आचार्येणैव सन्देहम् उत्पाद्य तस्य समाधानं क्रियते, तत्तु भिन्नं. किन्तु कदाचित् सन्देहः उत्पद्यते तदनन्तरं तस्य समाधानं प्राप्यते चेत् उपयोगाय भवति. तत्र क्विन् प्रत्ययः इति यदा पश्यामः, क्विन् इति कृत् प्रत्ययः अस्ति, धातुभ्यः विधीयते. तत्र अष्टाध्याय्यां त्रीणि सूत्राणि सन्ति क्विन् प्रत्यय विधायकानि. तत्र किमस्ति? प्रथमं सूत्रमस्ति स्पृशोनुदके क्विन्. स्पृशः स्पृश धातोः अनुदके उपपदे, उदकम् इति उपपदं न भवेत्, तद्भिन्ने उपपदे सति क्विन् प्रत्ययः भवति. तेन बहूनि पदानि प्रातिपदिकानि सिद्ध्यन्ति. घृतस्पृश, अग्निस्पृश, हिमस्पृश, जलस्पृश यत्किमपि योजयितुं शक्नुमः. शकारान्तशब्दाः निष्पद्यन्ते. द्वितीयं सूत्रमस्ति ऋत्विग् दधृक् स्रग्दिग् उष्णिग् अञ्चु युजिक् कृञ्चाञ्च इति. तत्र ऋत्विज् दधृष, स्रज, दिश, उष्णिः, युज, कृञ्च सप्त शब्दाः विशिष्य तत्र कथिताः सन्ति। तेन सह अञ्चु इति धातुः अस्ति, तत्र बहवः शब्दाः भवन्ति। प्र अञ्च, प्रति अञ्च, उद अञ्च इत्यादि। अत्र भिन्नविधाः चकारान्ताः शब्दाः सन्ति। प्र अञ्च कृञ्च इति। जकारान्ताः सन्ति युज, ऋत्विज, स्रज। शकारान्तः दिश शब्दः, षकारान्तः दधृष शब्दः, हकारान्तः उष्णिः शब्दः। सो इट इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ वर्ड्स। तृतीयं सूत्रमस्ति त्यदादिषु दृशोनालोचने कञ्च। दृश धातोः त्यदादिषु उपपदेषु, त्यद् तद् इत्यादिषु उपपदेषु क्विन् प्रत्ययः भवति। कञ् अपि भवति, तद् भिन्नं, तदस्माकम् इदानीं प्रसक्तं नास्ति। तेनापि शकारान्तशब्दाः सिद्ध्यन्ति। तादृश, यादृश, मादृश बहवः शब्दाः सिद्ध्यन्ति। एवं त्रिभिः सूत्रैः अष्टाध्याय्यां क्विन् प्रत्ययः विधीयते। किं प्रयोजनं? यतोहि क्विन् प्रत्यये कोऽपि वर्णः न श्रूयते, सर्वदापि सर्वापहारः भवति। इत्युक्ते प्रत्ययभागः अपह्रियते, इत्संज्ञया वा वेरपृक्तस्य इति वलोपेन वा। क्विप् इति अपरः प्रत्ययः अस्ति, तत्रापि सर्वापहारः भवति। कः भेदः इति चेत् क्विन् प्रत्ययविधानस्य प्रयोजनमस्ति क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति सूत्रेण। अष्टामाध्याये द्वितीयपादे द्विषष्टितमम् इदं सूत्रमस्ति। अनेन सूत्रेण पदान्ते कुत्वं विधीयते। केषां भवति इति चेत् क्विन्नन्तानां पदान्ते कुत्वं भवति, सामान्यं ज्ञायते। अपि च क्विन् प्रत्ययः यस्माद् विहितः तस्य धातोरपि पदान्ते कुत्वं भवति। यथा दृग्, दृश् शब्दस्य क्विन् नास्ति चेदपि तत्र क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इत्यनेन कुत्वं भवति इति सूत्रस्य प्रयोजनद्वयमस्ति। इदानीम् इदं सूत्रं कीदृशम् इत्यत्र वैयाकरणानां मतभेदः अस्ति। इदं क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति यत् सूत्रमस्ति, पूर्वं कानिचन सूत्राणि उक्तानि अस्माभिः। इफ् वी सी द लिस्ट ऑफ क्विन् प्रत्ययान्तास्, वी हैव शकारान्त, चवर्गान्त, हकारान्त, षकारान्त शब्दास्। एतेषां शब्दानां विषये अस्मिन्नेव पादे, अष्टमाध्यायस्य द्वितीयपादे पूर्वं कानिचन सूत्राणि उक्तानि सन्ति। चोःकुः इति कुत्वं विधीयते, होढः इति ढत्वं विधीयते, व्रश्चभ्रज्ज इत्यादिना षत्वं विधीयते। Right? So these are the sutras which are generally applicable to shakaranta, chavarganta and hakaranta shabdas. सामान्य सूत्राणि सन्ति। तेषां सूत्राणां दृष्ट्या क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति सूत्रम् अपवादभूतं वा अथवा स्वतन्त्रम्, इत्युक्ते बाध्यबाधकभावः नास्ति। क्विन् प्रत्ययः अस्ति चेत् तत् सूत्रमपि प्रवर्त्य ततः एतदपि कर्तुं शक्यते वा इति मतद्वयमस्ति। Question is clear? What we are trying to see is क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः an apavada to the other sutras? In general, we have sutras like hodhaha, chohkuhu, vrashchabhrasja, and we have the क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः. Is this sutra an apavada to those sutras, or is it a swatantra? That is, it doesn't have any badhya badhaka bhava. It just comes in a series. Like we apply one sutra after the other. Can we apply this? Is a question. Tatra वैयाकरणेषु मतभेदः अस्ति। कैयटः इति कश्चित् महान् वैयाकरणः। कैयटः महाभाष्यस्य प्रदीप नामकं व्याख्यानं रचितवान्। So Kayyata is the author of the currently the oldest commentary which is available for the Mahabhashya, and most definitely the most useful commentary for the Mahabhashya is called the Pradeepa, Mahabhashya Pradeepah by Mahamahopadhyayah Kayyatah. Kayyata is a extremely respected Vyakarana. It is because of him that we are still able to get access into the Mahabhashya. Mahabhashyasya adhyayanam kevalam bhashyasya adhyayanena kimapi na jnayate pradeepasahitam adhyayanameva kartavyam iti sampradaya-vidam Vyaakarananam matam bhavati. Evam Kayyataha iti Vyakaranaha tat pakshe अन्येपि केचन वैयाकरणाः सन्ति तन्मते अपवादभूतं idam sutram. So Kayyata considers kvin pratyayasya kuhu to be an apavada to all other sutras. Anyat yatkimapi sutram bhavatu vishishya yatha yajadhatoho samanyatah shatvam vidhiyate kintu ritvij iti kvinnantam asti chet kutvameva karaniyam iti tasya matam. Okay. So vishesha vihitatvat. The general argument is it is kvin is a special pratyaya. The reason the pratyaya is added is to enable this kutva, and therefore we do kutva directly. Iti Kayyatasya mate idam kutvam tesham sarvesham api sutranam apavada bhutam bhavati. Kintu dikshitaha Bhattoji dikshitaha Vyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudyaha karta asti Bhattoji dikshitaha tanmate idam apavada sutram nasti iti asti. So, right, we have two pakshas here. One is Kayyata's paksha and the other is Dikshita's paksha. If we look at the Siddhanta Kaumudi, so Dikshita makes it clear. Okay, Siddhanta Kaumudyam asmin vishaye Bhattoji Dikshitena Kayyata matasya pradarshanam kriyate kintu swamatam kim ityapi uchyate. But the problem with Laghu Kaumudi is it does not get there. Okay. Varadaraja does not want to get into the intricacies of these arguments. As long as we are getting the correct form, he is happy. So, because it is a Paniniya Pravesha Grantha, he is not very specific or very particular about introducing some of these concepts. Therefore, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudyam tadvishaye kimapi nochyate ityataha Chatreshu Brahmaha Bhavati. Vishishya yatha idanim bhaginya prishtam ritvije ityatra sakshat kutvam kriyate drishe ityadishu tatra shatvam jashtvam kritva kutvam kriyate. Evam. So there is a problem there. Right? To solve that problem, we have no option but going deeper and understanding both these pakshas clearly. Ubhabhyam pakshabhyam kimuchyate iti jnatavyam pakshadvayenapi samanam rupam siddhyati kintu rupa siddhi prakaraha bhinnaha bhavati. Okay. So the how we get the form will differ, but the final form will be the same. Sarvatrapi evameva Vyakaranaeshu matabhedaha ityukte rupam tu prayoge yad rupam asti tadeva bhavet. How we get there? It is whether we are going this way or that way, and what may be right. Right? We will try to analyze. Tatra Siddhanta Kaumudim yada pashyamah atah asmabhi kim karaniyam Vyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudyam kimuchyate dikshitaihi Bhattoji dikshitaihi iti kinchit drashtavyam. Because there also it is a bit confusing. Bhattoji Dikshita does not directly, at least initially, he doesn't negate Kayyata. There are a couple of places where he just mentions Kayyata Mata and leaves it there. Tatra Ritvik Shabde eva. If you look at Ritvij Shabda, Ritvig ityadina, ityukte Ritvig dadhrik ityadina, Rutau upapade yajehe kvin. Yajadhatoho kvin pratyayaha bhavati. Tatra kimuktam kvinnantatvat kutvam ityetavadeva uktam. So he says, you do kutva directly. So ritvik, ritvig, ritvijau, ritvijaha. Tatra vishishya kimapi noktam dikshitaihi. Evameva ushnih shabde kim karoti kvinnantatvat kutvena hasya ghaha. Ushnih hakaraha asti. Sakshat tatra kutvena ghakaraha bhavati. Tatah jashtvam chartvam kritva ushnik ushnik. So these are the two places where Bhattoji Dikshita is quoting Kayyata Mata. This is according to Kayyata Mata, where he doesn't directly say anything in contrary. Kintu, अग्रे वयं यत्र पश्यामः तादृश शब्दे भट्टोजीदीक्षितैः स्वमतं सम्यक् उच्यते। किमुच्यते? कुत्वस्य असिद्धत्वात्, कुत्वस्य क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति कुत्वस्य असिद्धत्वात् व्रश्चभ्रज्ज इति शः। कुत्र? तादृश शब्दे व्रश्चभ्रज्ज सृजमृज यजराजभ्राज छशां शः, तस्य जष्ट्वेन डः, तस्य कुत्वेन गः। सो षडग, तस्य चर्त्वेन पक्षे कः. So this, the whole series doing Shatva, Datva, Gatva, Kutva is shown by Bhattoji Dikshita here. Okay. And he also directly gives his argument. Shatvapavadatvat kutvena khakaraha iti kayyata haradattadi matetu. So in this place he is saying, so according to Kayyata and Haradatta, Shatva apavadatvat, Kvin pratyayasya kuhu is an apavada. It is an apavada to Vrashchabhrasja, it is an apavada to Hodhaha, to all the earlier sutras. Tada kim bhavati? Kutvena khakaraha. Tra kimasti tadrish. If we directly apply kutva there, kutvam ityukte kim? Kavarga varnaha adeshaha. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. How do we choose? Sthanentaratamaa. We have to choose that which is the antaratama. What is antaratama to shakara? Shakara is vivara, shvasa, aghosha, mahaprana. If we remember the bahya prayatnas from part 1, hashaha, samvara, nadaha, ghoshascha, kharaha, vivaraha, shvasaha, aghoshaha. The bahya prayatna for sh is vivara, shvasa, aghosha and mahaprana. In kavarga, what is vivara, shvasa, aghosha? The first two letters, the karkasha vyanjanas, ka and kha. Among them, mahaprana is khakara. Ataha yadi tadrish ityatra khakaraha bhavati. So shatvapavadatvat kutvena khakaraha iti kayyata haradattadi matetu. So it is not just kayyata. So there is kayyata, there is haradatta, who is a commentator on the Kashika, and others, all of whom who consider Kvin pratyasya kuhu to be an apavada. What happens in their case? There is khakara. Shakara is replaced by kha. Shatvapavadatvat kutvena khakaraha iti kayyata haradattadi matetu chartva bhava pakshe kha eva shruyeta natu gaha. So he says there is a problem with that mata. Why? Once we do the kutva, Kvin pratyayasya kuhu is 8 to 62. It is asiddha to jashtva. Jashtvam prati kutvasya asiddhatvat. So because it is asiddha, from tadrikh, you can do kharicha and get tadrikh, but you cannot get tadrg, is the problem he is raising. Shatvapavadatvat kutvena khakaraha iti kayyata haradattadi matetu chartva bhava pakshe. Chartvam nasti chet, vavasane ityanena chartvam na bhavati chet, kha eva shruyeta natu gaha. You would hear khakara and not gakara, is a problem he is saying. Why? Jashtvam prati kutvasya asiddhatvat. Because jashtva is asiddha to kutva. Or else, he also gives a solution to it, the same solution that we saw in Ushnih. What is it? Digadibhyo yat iti nirdeshat na asiddhatvam iti va bodhyam. Or else, what should we say? Kutva is not asiddha to jashtva. Why? Paninina swayam jashtvam kritva nirdeshaha kritaha. Kutra digadibhyo yat iti sutram asti. Tatra dig iti jashtvam kritam asti. Ritvig dadhrik iti sutre eva कृतमस्ति ऋत्विग् दधृक् स्रग् दिग् उष्णिग् सर्वत्रापि जष्ट्वं कृतमस्ति इत्यतः पाणिनेः निर्देशम् आश्रित्य अत्र जष्ट्वं प्रति कुत्वस्य असिद्धत्वं नास्ति दिगादिभ्यो यत् इति निर्देशात् न असिद्धत्वम् इति वा बोध्यम्. So he is not very happy, but he says you can somehow get the right forms. So what does it mean? Kayyata matam ashrayamah chet, we do kutva directly, but after kutva we also do jashtva, because जष्ट्वं प्रति कुत्वस्य असिद्धत्वं नास्ति इति अंगीकृत्य जष्ट्वं क्रियते चेत् सर्वाणि रूपाणि सिद्ध्यन्ति. So kayyata matam, if we are going by kayyata mata, right? So please look at this carefully. So kim bhavati atra? So kayyata mate, it is possible, as I said, kayyata mate दीक्षित मते उभयथापि रूपाणि सिद्ध्यन्ति. कैयटस्य मते किं भवति? क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति अपवादसूत्रम्. So everywhere the moment you have क्विन्, you don't do anything else, you just do क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः. तदा किं भवति? घृतस्पृश इत्यस्ति चेत् साक्षात् तत्र क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इत्यनेन खकारः भवति. शकारः अस्ति चेत् तत्र खकारः, ततः झलां जशोन्ते इत्यनेन जष्ट्वे कृते गकारः. सो घृतस्पृग्भ्याम्. एवं ऋत्विज इत्यत्र डायरेक्टली क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः ऋत्विग्भ्याम्. दधृष, अत्रापि आदौ एव क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति कुत्वं क्रियते चेत् दधृक्भ्याम्. पुनः जष्ट्वे कृते दधृग्भ्याम्. सो स्रज, डायरेक्टली क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः स्रग्भ्याम्. एवं दिक्भ्याम् दिग्भ्याम् उष्णिग्भ्याम् सर्वत्रापि क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इत्येव भवति इति कैयटमतम्. So if we are going by kayyata, we just, the moment we see that it is a क्विन् प्रत्ययान्त, we apply क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः. Wherever required, jashtva will also apply, and therefore we get the forms. Yatra to nakarah asti, tatra visheshah nasti, you directly apply and you get the nakara. Clear? So this is according to kayyata. Yada tu Bhattoji Dikshitasya swamatam, what he feels himself is क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः iti apavadaha nasti. He says it is not an apavada. You just apply sutras in a series. Whatever is applicable will apply. And क्विन् pratyayasya kuhu will apply at the end, because in the Tripadi Krama, it is given after all these sutras. Tatra hodhaha, vrashchabhrasja ityani sarvani sutrani purvameva santi, sarvam kritva ante क्विन् pratyayasya kuhu ityanena kutvam bhavati iti dikshitanam matam. Tada kim bhavati? Ghritasprish ityatra. So adau vrashchabhrasja ityanena shatvam bhavati, jhalanjashonte ityanena shakarasya dakarah bhavati, tasya gakarah bhavati क्विन् pratyayasya kuhu. Going by this, ऋत्विज इत्यत्रापि तथैव भवति. If we are going by दीक्षित mata, ऋत्विज first यज धातु, therefore vrashchabhrasja सृजमृज इति शकारः, tasya dakarah, tasya gakarah. In dadhrish, jashtvam kutvam. In sraj also we have to do shatva, because vrashchabhrasja is an apavada to choku. So srash, srad, srag. दिश दिड दिग. उष्णिः शब्दे किं करणीयम् इति चेत् अत्रापि आदौ होढः दादेर्धातोर्घः वा द्रुह मुह श्नुह श्निहाम्. स्निह धातुः तत्र अस्ति, अतः विकल्पेन घत्वं भवति. It gets optional घत्वा by वा द्रुह मुह श्नुह श्निहाम् or होढः. So उष्णिढ उष्णिघ. उभयत्रापि झलां जशोन्ते इत्यनेन जष्ट्वं भवति चेत् उष्णिढ उष्णिग् इदानीम् अत्र उभयोरपि क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इत्यनेन कुत्वं क्रियते चेत् उष्णिग्. So we do get ushnigbhyam not directly by doing hasya ghaha. Right? You cannot directly do क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः. You have to go this way and then get there. So prang yung krung ityatra tu kleshah nasti. Right? So what we have learnt in Laghu Kaumudi is, so we introduced both matas in different ways because the text itself does not get into the details. Tatra kadachittu kayyatamatam kayyatamathanusaram ritvije ityatra sakshat kutvam kritam kintu dishu ityadishu evam asti ubhayam jnatva idanim kaha bhedah. That is why, as I said, so there are some cases where clarity comes only when we have multiple things together, not when we are dealing individually. Idanim spashtam asti va? Any questions about this? So don't ask me which is right. So kim atra, see, finally, as I said, prayoga sharanaha vayyakaranaha. Whatever the vyakarana logic, as long as you are arriving at the right forms, it is acceptable. Atayeva Bhattoji Dikshitairapi sarvatha khandanam na kritamasti. He has not completely rejected Kayyatamata because it is possible to arrive at the right forms by saying just that Jashtva can apply after Kutva. Kutvasya asiddhatvam nasti iti angikritya Kayyatamatenapi sadhurupani sadhayitum shakyani Dikshitamatenapi sadhurupam sadhayitum shakyam. Kimartham, why does Dikshita not consider it as an apavada is tatra niravakashatvam apavadasya bijam bhavati. The basis of any apavada is niravakasha, not having a space to operate. Right? Yatha ad gunaha ityanena avarnad achipare gunaha uchyate. At echi pare vruddhi. Vruddhi does not have a independent domain for itself. But क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति विषये तथा नास्ति. किमर्थम्? अत्र पश्यामः चेत् where we have this प्रान्, युन्, कृन् एतादृशेषु अन्यस्य कस्यापि सूत्रस्य प्रसक्तिः नास्ति. Right? There is no other sutra in competition. You have to do क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः. So क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः has examples which can support its existence. Sutrasya sattam samarthayitum tatra udaharanani santi. So there is no niravakashatva and therefore क्विन् pratyayasya kuhu cannot be an apavada is what Dikshita feels. Kayyatadinam matetu क्विन् प्रत्ययः विशिष्य कृतः तस्य कृते एकमेव सूत्रम् अस्ति, अन्यत् किमपि सूत्रं नास्ति. क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति एकमेव विशेषेण विहितं सूत्रम् अस्ति इत्यतः तदेव क्रियते इति कैयटमतम्. You can justify both these in a way, but going by niravakashatva दीक्षितमतानुगुणम् एवं क्रमशः कर्तुं शक्यते इति तस्य आशयः. So therefore, for you, as in coming back to the course, so don't ask me what should I do in the exam. As long as you understand this distinction, you can do both. For marks, it doesn't matter. For understanding, you should know why there is two different opinion among Vaiyakaranas themselves. Okay. Atra, there is an article by Shri Nilesh Bodas. Nilesh Mahodayena etad vishaye क्विन् प्रत्ययस्य कुः इति विषये एकः लेखः लिखितः अस्ति. Okay, the link is available here, so you can go here. So I already have this here. So etadeva asmabhihi adya yat charchitam tadeva vistarena tena pratipaditam asti. Atah ekavaram pathitum arhanti. So you can go through this, where he goes by the Dikshita Mata. So he establishes that according to that Dikshita Matanugunam sarvatrapi evam kramashah shada gaka ityeva karaniyam bhavati. अपवादत्वं नास्ति इति तेन प्रतिपाद्यते तत् सर्वे द्रष्टुमर्हन्ति treating as apavada sutra may make life simpler. Yes, exactly. See, the moment there is one thing is, the moment there is a Vishesha Vidhana, you are calling out Quin and immediately say everywhere Quin Pratyasya Suhu, Kuhu, it. So, in Kayyata Mata, Jashtvam Prati Quin Pratyasya Kuhu iti Asiddham Nasti. In Dikshita, we don't need to think this way as the sutras go in order. Am I correct in understanding? Yes, absolutely. So, Dikshita Mate, Tripadyam Yatha Kramashaha Kriyate, Tathaiva Kriyate. There is no, you're not overriding Asiddhatva in any way. Kayyata Mate tu, Tatra Sutra Nirdesha Balat, Kutvya Asiddhatvam Nasti iti Vaktavyam Bhavati.
Bhagini, can I just have a small doubt? If it is an apapada, still why can't Cho Kuhu apply for this Raj? Because it is a Chavarga Anta.
Vrashchabhrasja is an apavada to Chohkuhu because it specifically calls a Srija Dhatu. Vrashchabhrasja, that is an established apavada because they are all Chavargantas. Vrashcha, Bhrasja, Srija, Mrija. So
no,
for
but
them,
when it is in the Kayyata Mata, you said it goes directly, that is taking this as a conveyor belt.
in Kayyata Mata,
62.
it is an apavada to Chohkuhu also.
Oh, okay.
Sarvesham api apavada. Whatever comes before is overridden by Quin Pratyasya Kuhu.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, there's one question here again. Why is grammar so complicated? It becomes difficult to learn and understand. See, there are two things. One is, as I keep saying, for language, you don't need to study all this. Samanyataha tatra digbhyam digbhihi iti rupam nyayate chet. Tatra apeksha nasti. Right? All this, that is why we are not even including this under the main patha. It is not needed. The Vagvardhini is all what is not needed. Atayeva Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudyam Saha Kimopi Navadati. He feels it's not needed for a basic student. Right? There are two purposes to Shastra. Should always remember. Vyakarana Shastra is a Shastra which can be studied for a whole lifetime, maybe several lifetimes. Does that mean everybody has to study Vyakarana for a whole lifetime to use Samskrita? Not at all. You don't even have to study Vyakarana. Yadi bhasha jnanam asti. Tatra Vyakarana jnanam, I mean, especially like this, is not needed. So, atra yeshu dineshu kim bhavati, tatra yatha anyaha bhashaha kevalam prayogavashad jnayante, tatha samskrita bhashayaha jnanartham avakashaha nasti. Right? That immersive atmosphere for Samskrita is unfortunately not present, and therefore we learn more through grammar. So Bhasha and Vyakarana go hand in hand because of that unique situation where we don't have that atmosphere. Samanyataha shishtam bhasham vaktum shishta prayogaha jnatavyaha natu vyakaranam ityeva. Idanim samskritasya nasti ityataha vyakaranam adhiyate. To what extent we learn grammar is purely our choice. I will never say that you have to learn all this to use Samskrita. Samskrita bhasha jnanartham tu etat napekshiyate. Right? Especially such things which don't have an effect on prakriya. Vyakaranasya adhyayanena kim bhavati iti chet, you are able to form patterns and therefore know the forms easily. Tadarthameva Laghu Kaumudyadayaha granthaha yatra prathamika sutrani nyayante. That is enough. Why do we need that? So that we know the pattern. Right? As I said, very simple things like where to use, say, shu or su in Saptami Bahuvachana. We say Ramasu, we say Rameshu. That question is very, very difficult to understand unless you have that sutra. There is just one word, in koho. In and kavarga asti chet shu bhavati. No chet su bhavati. It is the easiest way you can get that. Right? Similarly, Atkupvangnum Vyavayepi. There is some effort in learning the sutra, but once you learn that, Natva is mostly very easy, right? Except in exceptional cases. Evam Vyakaranam Sutrasya Adhyayanena Sulabhataya Tatra Rupani Jnayante Ityeva Tatparyam. But sutras are not studied purely for that. Okay. Atayeva Vyakaranam Shastram Asti. It is an independent Shastra which has a huge amount of thought. So what is the purpose of Vyakarana Shastra is Sukshmekshika, developing that refinement of thought. To what extent can you think deeply? अपि च अन्येषां शास्त्राणाम् इदानीं वेदान्तेऽपि तथैव यदि तत्र विद्यमानं तत्त्वमसि इत्यत्र कथं तत्र अभेदः साध्यते इति ज्ञातव्यं चेत् there are like hair splitting arguments. To train ourselves in the way of the Shastra, to appreciate the the refinement of thought in our ancestors and rishis. There is so much of thought which has gone into it. Tadartham asmabhihi shastradhyayanam karaniyam. Tattu bhinnam. So there are different prayojanas. The prayojana of understanding the fight between Dikshita and Kayyata for Queen Pratyayanta is definitely not for language. Tattu tasya prayojanam bhinnam asti. So if you enjoy Shastra, if you enjoy intellectual journey, tada eva Vyakarane agre etadrisha praudha vicharah jnatavya. No chet apeksha nasti. You can learn what is in Laghu Kaumudi and go ahead. It is adequate. But it is fascinating, somebody says. Exactly. That is the reason why we study the Shastra. Once you get that ruchi in Shastra, it will not let you go. Right? So, Tadeva Shastrasya, what do you call the grip? My teacher especially used to say, you are all crazy. Right? I mean, it is the craze of Vyakarana. In Kannada, she used to say, Huchhidide. Literally, he used to say, because, I mean, why else would you spend so much of time and this and split your hair? It's an intellectual delight in many ways. Okay, I think we will stop here for today. So, asmin saptahe napumsakalinga shabdanam rupani janimaha. Again, this will be just 1 week, but the videos will be uploaded hopefully by tomorrow. So next week, again, we will have Abhyasa Varga and then the Vagvardhini Varga. Tatra evam eva anyam kinchit vishayam svikritya charcham kurma. Yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha. Akyakaram vararuchim bhashyakaram patanjalim Paninim Sutrakaram cha pranatosmi munitrayam Natva Saraswatīm Devīm Shuddhāṃ Guṇyāṃ Karomyaham Paniniya Praveshaya Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudīṃ